And staying with the PDP, well, the party officially closed the submission of expression of interest and nomination forms for all categories. Well, earlier in the week, I did look ahead of the party's primaries as it picks its flag bearers across board. With strong indications that the People's Democratic Party has settled for indirect primary mode of election to pick its 2023 presidential candidate on the 29th of May, the party is looking for ways to reduce its current presidential aspirants by encouraging consensus talks amongst them. While decisions on the zoning committee is still being expected, 17 members of the party have obtained forms to contest for president. From the north, Abubakar Atiku, 75, a former vice president who was also the flag bearer of the PDP in 2019. Hayatuddin Mohammed, 69, economist and former managing director of the FSB International Bank. Mohammed Bala, 63, governor of Bauchi State and former minister of the Federal Capital Territory. Saraki Bukola, 59, medical doctor, president of the 8th Senate and former governor of Kwara State. Tambiwal Aminu, 56, governor of Sokoto State and former speaker of the House of Representatives. And from the south, Ayim Pius Ayim, 61, former secretary to the government of the Federation and former president of the Senate. Anakwenze Nwachiku, 72, US-based medical doctor. Emmanuel Udom, 55, current governor of Akwa Ibom State. Fayose Ayo, 61, former governor of Ekiti State. Carlo Chikwendu, 56, immediate past speaker of the Abia State Legislature and former legal advisor of the PDP. Momodu Dele, 61, media entrepreneur and publisher of Ovation magazine. Ndukwe Cosmos, 59, one-time deputy speaker of the Abia State House of Assembly. Obi Peter, 60, vice presidential candidate of the party in 2019 and former governor of Anambra State. Olive Terila Diana, 36, the only female presidential aspirant in the party. Okudili Ugu, believed to be in his 60s. Ohabunwa Sam, 70, pharmacist and former president of the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, and Wike Nyesom, 59, governor of Rivers State and former minister of state for education. The PDP presidential aspirants will be screened on the 27th of April, while the primary election is set to hold between the 28th and the 29th of May. Well, we're now being joined by Tari-oba Oliver. She is the only female presidential aspirant in the People's Democratic Party, PDP. Thank you so much for being here. I'm excited about this conversation because not only are you a woman, but you are 37 apparently.
Yes.
So let's talk about I know that political parties, so far, they've actually come up with some sort of measures, either reducing the nomination and interest form prices for women. But beyond that, what sort of support would you like to see, not just in the PDP, but in political parties in general, so that way we see more women like yourself vying for all sorts of positions?
Thank you for having me. And basically, the kind of support we want to see is more access to delegates. You know, most of the delegates, they don't want to make themselves accessible to young people. They believe that maybe you don't have what it takes and all of that. But I know that if the party kind of makes it mandatory, you know, for those delegates to make themselves available, accessible, and also to give everyone an equal opportunity in terms of consultations and stuff like that. Yes, some of them are doing that right now, but there are some you cannot access as it is right now. So if the party takes that as probably add a voice to it, I'm sure that will help a lot of younger people.
Well, politics is expensive, and vying for the highest office in the land must cost a lot of money. How do you intend to fund your campaign, you know, to become Nigeria's next president and the first female president?
Yes, I'm actually looking at crowdfunding. I've started that already. In all the climes, individuals don't fund the entire process because it's a collective responsibility. It's not one man's job. Because if you let one man take hold of that process, it becomes the godfather. It determines what happens. You see cases of awarded contracts that will never be executed because that money needs to go back. But when the people, Nigerians, collectively fund this process, then they become the godfathers, they become the godmothers. There's no payment plan to anyone, there's no interest on anyone. What the result will be the good governance that they so desire. So I believe that Nigerians should actually get involved in the process and support the process and support young aspirants and support young candidates and support women, actually.
I like that you've touched on women, because like it or not, women, we have the population. If you look at, the data, the last one released by INEC, it says 60% of those registered are actually young people. And if you look at the demographic again, down the line, women, we have the numbers. When you're talking about the voting population.
Yes.
So how do you intend to galvanize these women to actually support you?
Yes, the women, we have the numbers, but you see, when some of them get manipulated a lot, and you can see it's happening again, the issue of ethnicity, the issue of religion, the people feel that if the person is from my community, if the person is from my state, if the person is from my region, or if the person is from my ethnic group, I may benefit something, or I'm going to benefit something. In the past years, we've seen that it has not worked. It's if you do not belong to the 5 or 7 or 3% of the elites that benefit from the ethnic arrangement, you're not going to benefit anything. So why do you allow them to deceive you about stuff like that? The basic interest for every woman should be security, because we all can see that women are at the receiving end. The basic interest should be electricity. The basic interest should be infrastructural provisions that will enable you and a decent living, right? So if we look at the policies of aspirants or candidates now, you should be able to support people along that line, and not just because the person is from your ethnic group. Because Nigerians are in America, Nigerians are in France, Nigerians are in other countries. The president of America is not from your village, but you can go to America and enjoy facilities and have a decent livelihood because they have a system that is working. So it is about time Nigerian women decide, make that decision that nobody's going to deceive me. I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to engage aspirants. I'm going to ask what they have for the generality of everyone, not just for a particular group of people, because that's the only time it can get to you.
Right. So I ask you a direct question. Why do you want to be Nigeria's president? What do you think you do differently from the crop of leaders we have at the moment?
Okay. I believe I have what it takes to restore Nigeria. I believe I have what it takes to reposition Nigeria. We look at the issues, and I listen to other people, and I'm like, we have not got it right. The issues on ground are very simple, and they're very just easy, very basic. What's the most important thing to anyone right now is security. Even there in the Constitution is the primary responsibility of government to provide security for lives and properties. But we can see that that is not happening now. Not because we've had people that have goodwill, they have good intentions, they're desperate, they're passionate about providing security, but it has failed. It is because they are not applying the basic measures that should be. Security has moved beyond equipment into human security. So it doesn't matter how much equipment you have. If the humans are not involved in the process of providing security, you will fail. And that is why I've been advocating for not just community security, police, community security, state police, and regional. So beginning from the community stage, you cannot take someone that is not a member of a community, train the person and deploy to that community and expect the person to perform magic. No, you can't. The person needs to be able to understand the language. The person needs to be able to understand the terrain. The person needs to have relationship with the people at the community level. We've seen the issue, the basic issue while NSAT protests happened was because police officers will pull the trigger and they're going to say, I'm going to shoot you and nothing's going to happen, because they don't have any sense of responsibility. But if you are providing security in your local community, your father is there, your family is there, probably your children are there, you will not even think about the fact that you want to say you're going to kill someone and nothing's going to happen. Even if you run away, they have other people that they can hold responsible. Now, that is just one part of the whole issue. There are several issues that drive insecurity. So from the basic issue of child marriage, that's the foundation, because you have children becoming mothers. The children that are becoming mothers, they have no education, they have no job, they have no skills. Now they are giving birth to other children that also are not provided education. And you know that in the areas where we have a lot of insecurity, if you go back, they also have a large population of malnutrition, yet children that are malnourished. And if a child is malnourished, the cognitive ability of that child is very, is slimmer, is slower, is slimmer, basically, and they cannot take decisions for themselves. So you see them as ready targets, soft targets, right, to be recruited into insurgents and all of these bandits and all of this.
So if you tackle insecurity, you might just get it right, is what you're saying. Well, Tari, I just want to quickly ask you, did you go for the meeting with the wife of the president? I know she had asked for aspirant. You didn't go for that.
No, I did not.
She didn't go for it. Well, 37-year-old Tari-oba Oliver with 19 years experience in politics. We just have to say all the best with all that you plan to do, not just for the Nigerian women, but for Nigerians in general. And good luck with, your ambitions.
Thank you
for joining us tonight on the program.
Thank you.